Hello everyone, I'm Zethrix.
And I'm Savazar. And we played Dinkum for 100 days, and here's what happened.
Welcome to day 63. I started off day 63 by admiring all my rich stuff, and then I collected all my money. I checked the bulletin board and got a new quest to kill an alpha croc. Sally was visiting. This was Sally's first time visiting, and we learned that she's a hairdresser. I completed a quest for Sally. I did my daily collecting of animals, and then died. I was a little bit rusty, so this croc got the better of me. How tragic. I met Savazar on her farm and showed her a little trick. If you whistle, all of the animals will come running towards you. This was Savazar's happy place. And after finding 2 opals the day before, I couldn't believe I stumbled upon this opal rock. But I still needed all the opals I could get, so I wasn't going to complain. I continued metal detecting. My days basically consisted of metal detecting, collecting animals, and trying to make every dink possible. This shark practically beached itself, so I took advantage and killed it, and continued to metal detect through the night. I finally had enough metal to finish off the last of my sprinklers. I have a total of 19 sprinklers, plus all the sprinklers I have in my farm already. I went out to collect the wood I needed to make kegs. I needed all the kegs I could get. I started with a few, but I was going to come back and make a lot more, because this just was not enough. And since I made more room in the production area, I was able to put the kegs right in the middle. And that brings an end to day 63. And on the start of day 64, it looked like Casper was visiting our town. For some reason, when Savazar was riding the motorcycle, it didn't show that she was riding it. But I could not get her off that thing. I made a fruit salad, since it boosted my woodcutting. I collected more quests from the bulletin board. I gave Fletch a piece of meat in exchange for a corn dog. And then I went back to deforesting. I was going to make a lot of kegs, so I needed lots of wood. And thanks to that fruit salad, these palm trees did not stand a chance. But now, unfortunately, I had to turn all these logs into planks. I collected my animals as usual. And I had a little bit of extra time, so I decided to go to the mines. I needed all the ore I could get for all these kegs. In the first treasure room, we got another dog collar. And it was finally time to test one of my new toys. This bug zapper was my new favorite item in the game. It makes these bats so easy. But just like every other tool that I get too excited and I accidentally broke it. So now I couldn't wait to see Ted again so I could get another one. I found a couple rubies, and then in this treasure room I found the usual goodies. And this treasure room actually sucked. But with that, I took my rubies and all my loot and I headed back home. And that wraps up day 64. And on day 65, I was so happy to see Erwin visiting. I still wanted him to move to the island so bad. And it was finally Monday, so that meant I would be able to make my dirt printer from Franklin. I started by visiting John to sell my rubies. And while I was there, he gave me the recycling bin. This was going to be a cool item for us. When you set up the recycling bin, anybody in the town can just put random items in it. I couldn't wait to see what kind of goodies we were going to get out of here. And I thought this was the perfect spot. So when I went back over to Franklin, I sold some shiny discs and made a nice 200,000 dink. And now it was time for what we've all been waiting for, the dirt printer. This was going to help me finally finish my farm expansion. And I can't wait till you see what it looks like. I went over to Erwin to see if I could finally convince him to move. I bought a bookshelf from Erwin for 4,000 dink. I had a bunch of tools that needed to be repaired, so I made sure to grab all of them and a repair kit. And now they're all as good as new. That is such a cool feature to have in this game. I made sure to finish turning all my logs into planks. And I finally learned why Erwin didn't want to move to our town. I did not spend enough money at his shop. So now that I spent over 10,000 dink, it was finally time for Erwin to move in. I think Savazar practically jumped out of her chair when I told her. I didn't waste any time and I got the deed right away. And once we got the deed, I made sure to pay off our debt. Money was just not an issue anymore. We set up a foundation right next to the town hall and in front of the farm, so we could put Erwin's animal shop right here. I gathered all the materials so we can get this building up and running right away. And now it was finally time to make all my kegs. We made a total of 15 more kegs. This was going to make brewing so much easier. I redecorated the production area just a tad. I put all the kegs in the middle, and then I put all the billy can kits on the outside. This was perfect. and I had a ton of Waddle Tea, so I was able to brew them all right away. That should be enough kegs. For now. I made a marble pedestal and gave my bug trophy the respect it deserved. I still think Savazar was a tad jealous. And that wraps up day 65. And day 66 was going to be a huge day for us. Franklin finally finished making my dirt printer, and now I could put this bad boy to the test. It basically does exactly what you think it would do, but after moving over 6,000 dirt, this was a relief. The battery doesn't last too long, but I was able to put a big dent in evening out our farmland. So I made sure to put this puppy on their charger right away. I went over to Franklin and commissioned another quarry. These quarries are going to be really good in the long run. I visited the bank where I hit 3 million dinks for the first time. I did my daily chores of collecting animals, and it was time to take the bike for a spin. I just wanted to feel the breeze through my hair. My dirt printer was done charging, so I made sure to make good use of it, and I continued to flatten out our farmland. I made a ton of lampposts for Savazar so she could use them around our town. I made tons of palm fence because I wanted to change the fence I had for the farm. This was more of a farm fence, if that makes sense. And that's a wrap for day 66. I started off day 67 by checking the mail and getting my new quarry. I had a total of 3 now, and so it was time to find a new home for them. I set them up over here in this open area right behind the bank. I went back over to the farm to continue evening everything out. I was getting closer and closer. And Erwin's barn finally finished. He had so many cool things in here. Savazar was going to clean Erwin out of all his animals every day. This is exactly what Savazar had been waiting for. After visiting Erwin, I made sure to collect my animals for the day. I checked the recycling bin, and it contained a new wallpaper. I brought the wallpaper straight home, and I couldn't wait to try it out. This made our house look so much cooler. Now that I finally had most of the farmland evened out, it was time to set up all my sprinklers. I had over 20 advanced sprinklers at this point, so this was going to cover a lot of ground. And look at that. We are finally almost done with the first expansion on our farm. I did a quest for Theodore. I gave him a tin sheet and I received a tin bar. And Savazar had been working on decorating the farm area, and I thought it was looking so good. Since when did Savazar get so good at decorating? My dirt printer was finally done charging, so I was able to finish filling in this last hole. And now that everything was finally even and I finished the fencing on the perimeter, all that was left was to hoe it and plant some seeds. Oh my gosh, who left all this junk out here? Okay, Savazar had been a little busy redecorating our house, and she did an incredible job. And that wraps up day 67. These days are just getting more and more fun for me. And on day 68, I didn't waste any time. I grabbed a hoe and started getting ready for seeds right away. I took a break and went over to Franklin to commission a new quarry. This was going to be quarry number 4. I collected all my money from collecting animals. I finished a quest for rain. And I was waiting for the seed shop to open, so in the meantime, it was time to collect all my fruit trees. This was going to be our first harvest since the expansion. And oh my gosh, this is going to be a lot of fruit. It's beautiful. I'm telling you, I really just can't get enough of this sound. And with that harvest, we collected almost 400 of every fruit. We have almost 500 of quandogs and apples. I knew expanding the tree orchard was a good idea. Rain's shop was finally open, so I bought a bunch of seeds. I mainly bought carrots and wheat. And somehow, I underestimated how big this farm is. It holds over 500 seeds and I only bought 300. But that's okay because I'll just buy the rest tomorrow. I'm just really happy with how it turned out. And I was a little short on bananas, so I wanted to plant a few more banana trees. But fortunately, I don't even need to use a shovel anymore. So it makes the process much easier. But it was too late and I had to head home and go to bed. And on day 69, Melvin was visiting. I started off day 69 by checking my mail. And I set up our new quarry. And I finally felt like I was getting some use out of these things. I finished the final tree orchard expansion. I completed a quest for Melvin and I gave him a fly. And now, Melvin was finally ready to move into the island. Okay, don't everybody line up at once, alright? So of course, I went and got the deed right away, and I paid off our debts. I made sure to collect all the money for my animals. And now our town was getting a little full, so finding a spot for Melvin was going to be a little tricky. But this was an expansion I wanted to do anyways, so it was time to get started. I placed Melvin's shop right behind the bank. I collected all the building materials. I made more cement pillars so I could finish the pathway. This was an expansion that I've been waiting to do for a while, so I was excited to finally get it done. I finished the pathing all the way around the farm to the bridge, and I think it turned out perfect. Savzar used all the lampposts I got her the first time, so I made sure to make her even more. These were going to help our town look even better at night. And look at all these jams I was making with our fruits. This was going to make us rich. And now it was time to collect all of our wattles. Collecting the trees and the wattles was becoming one of my favorite things. So I guess all that hard work really did pay off, huh? I went for a late night joyride. I was starting to really love this motorcycle. And after that adrenaline rush, it was time to wrap up day 69. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. And I hope you're ready for episode 17.